All right, so thanks for tuning in. Kyle Litteritz from Sports Empire Network give you some breaking news. The United States just beat Iran 1-0. It'll now advance to the knockout round where they're going to face the Netherlands on Saturday morning, I think 10 o'clock. I'll get into Netherlands here in a second, but uh, they won the game off of a beautiful ball by McKinney into the box where he found Sergino Dest off the right side. And then Dest headed it across the box to Pulisic, who made a run through the middle of the Iranian center backs, found space, got into the end of the cross, and then put in the back of the net in the 38th minute. They had other chances as well, but before halftime, Weah looked like he made it 2-0, but on upon review, he was just offside, so that didn't happen. But they went into the half up 1-0. Kind of had the same feeling as the Wales game. A lot of the commentators at half, especially Alexi Lawless, let it be known that they did this against Wales. Have to see how they look in the second half. Um, so I will say on the goal, Pulisic was hurt. He did finish the half out, but he did not return for the second half. So we got Brendan Aronson to start the second half. Second half kind of started like the first half, where the U.S. was creating opportunities. They just couldn't find that second goal. And then as the game, went further into it, I think Beerhalter made the conscious decision to kind of beef up the back line because the U.S. had done, a lot of running and tracking balls down. So probably around the 75th minute or so, you could see a lot of the players on the pitch were, gassed. So Beerhalter decided to bring in um, Zimmerman and Moore went to a back five because he knew that the last 15, 20 minutes of the game, Iran was going to really push to get that equalizer because with England beating Wales, it was still out there that if Wales could just, I mean, not Wales, if Iran could just get the draw, then they would be moving through. So they really went for it. A couple times they had pretty good opportunities. They had a header that just missed. They had the cross into the box where the Iranian player tried to go down and call it and try to draw a penalty. The ref wasn't having it, and then upon review, clearly it wasn't a penalty. But on the same play, he was able to get the Iranian player was able to get a tip onto the ball, and it actually went through Matt Turner's legs, who had come out from his back line, and I believe Zimmerman had to clear it off the line. So that was probably Iran's best chance. I will say Zimmerman coming in as a sub, he played great. Tyler Adams had another great game. Actually, the midfield of um, Musa, McKinney, Adams, great again. Pulisic, I mean, he was the goal scorer, so he had a great game. Sargent, I want to talk about Sargent real quick. Sargent was playing that number 9 position where he played against. He started against Wales in the middle when they went 4-3-3. He didn't play well. Berhalter went to the 4-4-2 against England, so Sargent didn't play because the middle man up front wasn't involved. Went back to the 4-3-3 this game against Iran, put Sargent back out there, and Sargent had a great game. He also went out in the second half with an ankle injury. We'll have to see what he looks like if he's ready to go Saturday. I probably have more. I'm probably more optimistic in Sargent playing Saturday than I am Pulisic because they're saying it's an abdominal issue with him. And I mean, going into half, he looked like he could barely kind of walk into the locker room. He needed help to get in there, so it doesn't look promising for him. And if he doesn't play, I'm assuming Aronson, who came on for him in the second half, will just start for him. And then we'll probably see Reyna come in for Aronson at some point in the game against the Netherlands. But, the U.S. showed a lot of heart. They played really well. They probably deserved a second goal somewhere in there. Haji Wright had a great opportunity. He came in as a second half sub, didn't play that well, but there was a ball where they kind of where the U.S. kind of cleared it out. Wright was up front by himself. He controlled the ball, and all he had to do was make a turn to his right, and he would have seen Aronson making a free run. Would have been in against the goalkeeper all by himself. Wright went to make the pass, and he kind of hit it with his heel, and it didn't get to Aronson. So that, if Iran were able to get an equalizer, that would have been a play that we would have been looking at as if Wright could have just made that pass. We're probably looking at a 2-0 situation where if Iran got a goal, wouldn't have been that big of a deal. So, was it a perfect game for the U.S.? No, but for this young group, getting through the group stage, no losses, so they finished with 1 win, 2 draws, 0 losses, get the 5 points, which I always said that they would have to get at least 5 if they really wanted to get out of this group. They get it done. So, Beerhalter's had a lot of detractors since he was named the U.S. coach or manager, however you want to put it, but you have to give him credit for this. He got the U.S. back to the World Cup after they missed it in 2018, qualifying through CONCACAF and all that, although people kind of wanted to give him crap for not winning CONCACAF. Hey, he got him in. That's what I said. So that was checkpoint number 1. Number 2, make it out of the group stage. There were detractors who were talking after the Wales game that he should have been more aggressive and they should have won that game. Then they gave him credit for England because the U.S. tied against the top 5 team in the world. And then against Iran, some detractors are talking about his substitutions in the second half, how Moore and Wright didn't really play well. I don't care. They got through. So this is checkpoint number 2, getting through the group stage. Now they're into the knockout round. At this point, it's house money. This team should be really confident going into that game against the Netherlands. Netherlands are another good team in the world. The Netherlands won their group, so obviously they're going to be the favorite on Saturday. But I mean, with the Netherlands, you're going to have to worry about Gakpo and Memphis Depay in terms of the backline for the U.S. Those 2 guys have been really good, especially Gakpo. He's basically scoring like every game that he's out there. He is a threat in the air because he's really big, but he's skillful enough where he's a great finisher for the Netherlands, so you got to watch out for him. That's going to be probably Ream and whether it's Zimmerman or Carter Vickers, who had a good game against Iran. Those 2 guys will have their hands full going up against Gakpo. Depay, is also a guy who kind of plays off of Gakpo, so they have to be really, real cognizant of those 2. And then for the U.S., a team that's having trouble putting the ball in the back of the net, only scoring 2 goals in the group stage, but it doesn't matter. They made it out. They got to now deal with Van Dijk for the Netherlands, who's probably the best center back in the world. So he anchors that back line. We know that the U.S. likes to, the 2 goals we've seen were, guys making a run through the middle, getting on the end of passes. So it's going to be tough on Van Dijk there in the middle to kind of relegate all of that, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened in this World Cup. For the U.S. going against the Netherlands, they could look at, Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, South Korea beating Japan. It's happened. The underdogs have been winning kind of regularly in this World Cup. So the round of 16, why not? Like I said, we're going to have to see in terms of the U.S.'s injuries with Pulisic and Sargent, how that affects things. We'll say if Sargent is out, I don't think Wright will get the start because he's kind of struggled the 2 times he's been out there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ferreira finally get a shot up top and see what he can do in the middle of that, 4-3-3 up top. But yeah. So like I said, breaking news just about probably like half an hour, 45 minutes ago. U.S. advances to the knockout stage to face the Netherlands on Saturday. So thanks for tuning in. You guys know what you need to do. Subscribe to Sports Empire Network because a lot of great things going on there. And um, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed this run with the U.S. and hopefully it continues past the Netherlands. But I appreciate Sports Empire Network letting me come on here and give you a little bit of a recap and all that good stuff. So I'll see you guys later. All right.